Hey friends, today is about the rear triangle from rear mount, or Ura Sankaku as it's known in judo. This is a really useful technique when you can't get the basic choke to work. So this is coming from a program that we put out called the weak side back attacks. Rob Bernacki and I put this out. This is going to be a free module in the Grapple Arts BJJ Master app. We're hoping to release the free module sometime this summer, July, August 2018. But the app is available right now. grapplearts.com/master app. You can get it for iOS, you can get it for Android. There's an entire module on attacking the back that's going to be added for free. So go grab the app right now, and then later this summer, when the module comes out, it'll get automatically added to your app. So act now, get it later, get the whole thing. Now, back to training.
If I'm maneuvering into the weak side, I'm stepping on the hip, I'm capping off the shoulder. Ideally, we're adding some kind of posture break, but if not, that's just fine. I'm using my foot for base here to create a kickstand effect. I'm scooting my hip out. Again, I can transition to the Kimura, or I can stay here. For now, let's say I've transitioned to the Kimura. Now, rather than using leg dexterity, I'm using a simple leg press to get over my partner's arm and trap it. So now we want to transition to the triangle. Now the thing about transition to the triangle is I don't actually have to get this arm trap. There are going to be situations where my partner is doing a really good job of keeping this arm in, and I'm not actually going to be able to necessarily trap the arm with my foot, like just obliging me, yeah, underneath the hip. So occasionally we're going to find ourselves here, and we're going to transition to the triangle without being able to trap the arm. So let's discuss that
right
first.
Over my wrist there.
Exactly. So I'm, just as we discussed in the previous video, I'm trying to get to the end of the lever with my heel, although sometimes I'm going to have to use the bicep as the end of a different lever. But in this case, I'm covering your wrist, and I'm going to angle my hip as much up to the side as I can. Let's turn. So that roughly speaking, my Achilles tendon is covering your wrist. The more of an internal rotation I have on your shoulder here, the better. And I'm now going to close the triangle. Now, if your arm is trapped in here, that's actually great for me.
It's horrendous. My own hands are choking me.
Yeah. Now let's just go over a few details on the actual triangle. I don't want to close the triangle at this angle. There's going to be space between the sort of bend of my knee and Stefan's neck. Ideally, any choke is a triangle, but the triangle has to be lined up correctly. So right now the angle is wrong. The triangle is going over the back of your neck and your shoulder here. I want the triangle to be going over the side of your neck and internally rotating your shoulder. So I want to make sure that I scoot back enough that my calf caps off these arteries and that my hip flexor, top of my thigh, is driving your shoulder into your neck like this. So you can see there for demonstration purposes, I didn't close the triangle, just so you could see the motion. I would be closing the triangle in this case, and ideally, if I can hook under your arm and start to come up, I'm adding a posture break, making the triangle tighter. Not necessary, particularly if you don't have really long legs and a lot of space to try to take away. You don't have to do that sit-up part, but it's certainly helpful, much like pulling the head down if you're doing a triangle from the guard is helpful. But as long as I'm here and I have the proper angle, I should be able to finish no matter what. So that's the first triangle setup, which again, it doesn't require the arm being trapped, but if it's trapped, then great. The second triangle setup that we want to go over, once we found ourselves here, particularly if I have managed to create this separation and I've trapped the arm, is I can control this arm in a few different ways, or I can simply step my leg across and extract my other leg. So now I'm going to a more conventional triangle alignment. Now in this case, there are two options. While I do this, my partner is either going to stay here, in which case when I close the triangle, it is going to be a little bit of a different angle. You'll notice again that I'm closing the triangle here, rather than bringing it all the way around to the conventional triangle alignment. Right? Now that is contingent on you.
Sure. So it's like a regular triangle if I, for some stupid reason, try to escape by twisting out this way.
Exactly. So I would be ending up going here. Right.
And I would pay for that.
For that mistake. Right.
So there's
but in this case, because you're on your side and you may not even have the ability to turn into me, right? Like let's go over it one more time, because You know, we say sometimes the guy will turn into you. It's entirely possible that they won't even be able to. All right, once I've done this, especially if I've added this posture break, I've stepped here, and then I've transitioned, as long as I'm keeping this elbow up, it can be very difficult for you. So I don't want you to make unnecessary movements if you don't have to. I keep the posture break. I can break posture this way as well. I close the triangle. I make sure that my Achilles tendon, where it connects to my calf, the tendon insertion, is cutting off this artery. I make sure that my hip comes out enough that your shoulder is going to be rotating into your neck, and I break your posture with my thigh. So that would be how we finish the triangle on that side.
So there are two main triangles from the weak side in
Yes,
handlebar.
in one case I'm throwing my right leg over and triangling this way. In the other case I'm throwing my left leg over and triangling this way. They're both very effective.